Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you about the origins of one horse open sleigh, which we all know as Jingle Bells, and how it was performed in minstrel shows by white men in blackface. And the main performer of this particular song is the one you're looking at right here, named Johnny Pell, uh, who was a popular performer in Boston. That's where these songs were performed. And Pierpont, the writer of these songs for the minstrel shows, ladies and gentlemen, that's all he did. All of his songs were written for minstrel shows, period. It's not like he got a catalog out here of songs that were non-racist. Every song this man wrote was specifically for minstrel shows, period. All right. So he was a Boston resident, and I'm going to go down here to where it says Jingle Bells, continued. Now, the song originally was written as One Horse Open Sleigh, and it was performed in Ordway Hall. And that was a place up in Boston where minstrel shows were held. In 1859, the song changed to Jingle Bells. Okay, but it was still being performed in minstrel shows up in Boston. Pierpont wrote a series of all these different music for minstrel shows. So nothing he wrote, as far as One Horse Open Sleigh, had anything to do with a holiday or anything affiliated with Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's or anything like that. It was specifically for mocking Black people on stage. All right. And this goes over his entire history in Boston and writing and getting his music for minstrel shows published. Okay. So Pierpont's songs were written since 1852. And it was for the singers of Ordway Hall, and these singers were nothing but minstrel show performers, period. These were white men featured in blackface, known as dandy. Okay. And they have all kinds of articles on these shows, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a mystery. Believe me, they may have tried to bury the history, but they didn't do a good job in burying it enough. Okay. So now let's look at some of the songs that Pierpont wrote for Ordway Hall performances. So these are some of the songs. It was Ordway establishment known for clean, family-oriented, middle class entertainment with children under 10 admitted for a half price. Okay, so this is where white people took their families to watch these performances, even their children. We're not shocked. If you're going to take your kid to a lynching, you're going to take your kid to a minstrel show, let's face it. Okay, so Pierpont continued to write songs for Ordway. In 1853, the ballad The Color Coquette, published by Oliver Ditson, became a regular song at Ordway Hall. And this was between 1853-1854 season. The songwriting, composed and arranged by Pierpont, was the first instance in which he racialized burlesque ballads. So they sung it with what they call a Negro dialect. Okay, and we know that's just mocking the way Black people spoke back then because, let's face it, after slavery, nobody had a college education. So they spoke the language the best way that they could. Other racially burlesque ballads also connect Pierpont to the minstrel tradition, including Kitty Crow, in 1853 and Poor Elsie in 1854. One Horse Open Sleigh received its first professional performance sung by Johnny Pell, this dude right here, Johnny Pell, in Boston on Tuesday, the 15th of September, 1857, one day before Oliver Ditson copyrighted the song. 9 days later, on September 24th, James Pierpont married Elsa Peirce in Savannah. And she was supposed to be a wealthy woman, probably married her for her money. So his presence at the opening remains unknown. Pell continued to perform One Horse Open Sleigh with the Morris brothers, who were part of that circuit that did minstrel shows, Pell and Huntley Trope, even after they broke away from Ordway in early 1858. The billing of the song also continued to include the original title as late as 1861, even though the song was recopyrighted as Jingle Bells, and or the One Horse Open Sleigh by Oliver Ditson in 1859. It is unclear why Pierpont recopyrighted the song under the new title, for which we now associate with, which is Jingle Bells. Perhaps he was hoping to make more money, or perhaps he was beginning to separate himself from the musical friends in the North as he became a Southerner sympathizer. By the Civil War, Pierpont published songs for the Southern cause: We Conquer or Die, Our Battle Flag, Strike for the South. So this man was all steeped in Confederacy. Yeah, come on, a clear racist. But ladies and gentlemen, that gives you some origin. So the name James Pierpont is associated with writing songs specifically for minstrel shows. And that's all this man did. It's almost like, his catalogs actually still exist. I ain't buying the shit, but I'm just saying it still exists. I guess for historical purposes, it's still there. So, like I said, you dig deep enough, you can find the origins of all of this stuff. It's still there. I mean, they may bury it, but they didn't do a good enough job in burying it. I will leave the link to this PDF file in the description box, but please tell me what you think. Leave your comments and subscribe, and don't forget to hit on that notification bell. Peace, family.